This is Tony Poulos in Singapore with Paul Scanlan, who is the VP of Solution Sales and Marketing at Huawei. Paul, welcome. Great to see you again. I really would like to know, firstly, what are the main industry trends that Huawei has been capitalising on to achieve its quite spectacular growth?
There are many things that go on in industry, and there are many different types of trends. Yeah, if I look at there's technology trends, there's also business trends. Quite clearly, we see a lot of the operators are going through different types of cycles in their business. So it's not just about technology trends driving their business. We see a lot of different types of competition. We also see a lot of different types of operators going through different types of organisational change. And they're going through organisational change for a couple of reasons. Everybody talks about declining ARPU and everything else, but you and I both know we're all spending more money in telecom, right? So we're spending more money, but why are we spending more money and where are we spending more money? And I think if I look at just pure trends, obviously there are some challenges in the directions that subscriber behaviour is going. So one is the subscriber behaviour challenge, and everybody talks about MBB and FBB. It's quite clear that the challenge is everybody is eating more broadband because there are different types of devices, there's more interesting content, and the generation is changing. People are using telecom differently today. So that's probably one of the biggest I see trends, if you like, is in the MBB world. The other one is, and I've talked about this in a lot of the different forums that I present, voice is declining, voice is being migrated towards video, and that's what we're doing today, right? So video is taking over the world, and I think Huawei is seeing about, within 3 to 5 years, we expect to see video being dominant. It's about 40% of the total data consumption today. It's going to be the main form of communication. We're not going to be talking anymore. We're going to be watching each other on any type of device. The Huawei tablet is an example of these things, yeah. And
what do you see as the main challenges for Huawei moving into, say, 2012?
If I look at where the trend is taking us, and then trend creates trend, opportunity, challenge, they're all linked together, right? So things like cloud, everybody talks about cloud, it's a big cliche today, but we have a very good cloud offering, and we've pioneered it in a number of interesting markets. So that's, the trend is certainly heading towards not just operators building clouds, but operators recognizing that there are opportunities there. They're still trying to figure out how to do it exactly, and some have taken the challenge and jumped there. So we're heading in that direction. And so, the cloud enterprise business, operators are realizing regular consumer business is tough, as I said, declining ARPU, but the enterprise business certainly has a lot of opportunity. Certainly the growth potential is there. And those two trends are the opportunities. Those two trends are the challenges to the operators in having to think a little bit differently about their business.
And what do you see as the operators' main pain points? I know you've covered some just there, but are there others that they're going through?
I see a couple of things that operators are, probably three things that operators have difficulties with today. The first one is in their traditional business, which they understand, which is voice and SMS, and we'll say some data, and maybe some private comms that they've done traditionally. They come from a traditional background, and the challenge they face is a lot of the smaller players who've come in who are a little bit leaner, a little bit hungrier, differently organised. So one is organisational transformation. That's a significant problem because it's very difficult. How do you transform an organisation? You've got Top Gun VPs running around suddenly being asked to displace or move to somewhere else, to a different portfolios they don't understand, products that they don't understand. I see one of the second biggest challenges, a lot of the telcos are still being driven by the technologists as opposed to the business people, the marketing people. And I'm a strong believer, yes, I come from a technology background, but I'm a strong believer in companies being driven by markets, by products, by pure business, not the technology layer. And the third one is they'll talk about total cost of ownership and OPEX and CAPEX savings and reductions, but I think a lot of them are focusing on this rather than focusing on what's the next piece of business and trying to roll more products out more often, more frequently. And I think that's where they're having these three challenges today.
And how are you helping those operators become more profitable?
Well, I think the proof is in the pudding. First of all, we're achieving our targets. So therefore, if we're achieving our targets, how are we achieving targets? It can only be through win-win. If we're making money and they're not, that's not a good solution, nor is it a good solution the other way around. But it's not just about cost, all right? I mentioned to you, I think in the last interview, that we're trying to change from a product and price company to a solution and strategy company. So the first way we try to help them is on strategy. So we are working more closely at the CXO level with certainly all our key customers. And that means a different way of doing business. Not just looking at RFPs or waiting for the RFPs, but really trying to understand their business. So I'm putting more marketing, solution marketing, business consultants into operators to work with the CXO levels to understand their business, get them to understand Huawei better, and then try and do a better match so that when they spend their money, they spend it wisely and they spend it in the right place and at the right time. So I think that's probably the key to how we're helping them.
And what can we expect to see from Huawei in 2012?
I plan to make a few changes in my region, not I would say significant by global standards, but I'm going to try to change a few of the cultural things that we're doing within the company to make it adapt better to the way the operators are changing, so the way we will engage our customers. The second one is I'm trying to broaden the scope of their understanding of what Huawei can do so that they can understand how better we can help them in more areas, not just confined to the traditional wireless network and core areas, to show them we have a very significant offering in the value-added services platform, in the cloud platform, in the enterprise platform. And we've rebranded our devices strategy. We have some very ambitious targets there over the next 2 to 3 years, and our recent launch of tablets and Vision and Honor products in the terminal business is particularly good, which is matched very well with our LTE offerings.
It's going to be a big year for Huawei, I think.
I think I've got some tough targets, but I think all the operators have tough targets.
Yes.
And I think together, if we understand each other better, I think we're going to achieve those targets.
Paul, always great to catch up, and thanks for briefing us on what Huawei is up to. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Tony.